focus to cricket and the special IPL segment on Newsx. Chennai Super Kings won the toss and elected to bowl first. While the Chepauk track was better for batting than usual, CSK aimed to use the natural grip for their spinners and back their ability to chase under the lights. Despite the early onslaught, CSK stayed in the game by taking wickets at critical moments. Jamie Overton and Noor Ahmed provided the necessary breakthroughs and control to slow down the scoring rate. Chasing 204, CSK showed intent from this first ball. Sanju Samson and Rituraj Gaikwad attacked early in the power play, ensuring that the required run rate never became unmanageable. To analyze these matches, now let's go across to cricket scholar Sunil Yash Kalra. Over to you, Sunil.
Johnny, thank you very much. Yes, it has been one of the better Sundays that we experienced in IPL. Remember, we were playing one of the bigger matches yesterday. And joining me are three of the important guest panelists. One of them was a Chennai supporter. Another one is a Virat Kohli fan from England, Oxfordshire. And of course, Zakwan, the new kid on the block with the mic in his hand from Colombo, joins us. But let me get on to Satish. Satish, it's time for you to open the show with your thoughts on how CSK played.
Hi Sunil, hi everyone. It's heartening to see the CSK extending the winning run, which they are very famous for in the past. Of late, that consistency was missing because once the CSK was getting into the winning mode, they never let that grip loosen ever. That was under Mahendra Singh Dhoni, at least when he was there on the field. But to see that kind of a form and having multiple wins over the last few games will be a very heartening thing for the CSK fans. Having said that, CSK chasing a big total, they made it pretty easy in the first 10 overs thanks to the young talent Urvil Patel. That's another point that we, all the Chennai fans or the Chennai supporters would be very happy to see. You have a couple of young talents coming through the ranks like Mahatre, you have Urvil Patel, and Anshul Kamboj has become a very good bowler this year. Actually, he started as an all-rounder last year, but now he's one of the ace bowler. So overall, it's a very collective performance, and hats off to Urvil Patel. The knock he played, it really took the wind out of Lucknow's sails, and then it made the chase a lot much more easier.
Urvil Patel is the name, of course. 65 runs, 23 deliveries, and 2 fours and 8 sixes. Strike rate of 202. David, welcome to the show. Do you find these new names with absolutely unimaginable performances? Are you feeling gratified to see the new names coming and smashing all across the park?
Well, certainly, yes. Urvil Patel was a new one to me, and my God, he looked impressive, didn't he? But it was an old established name from England, from Surrey, Jamie Overton, who I thought played a key hand for CSK, contributing 3 wickets at an important stage. He's got a lot more experience than some of the others. He's a lesser known name than some of the other overseas stars, but I think he's contributed well. But yeah, a lot of great young talent coming through. Very healthy to see from India's point of view.
Well, absolutely. Zakwan, what is your assessment of the match that happened yesterday, especially the way CSK is coming back? It's an inconsequential match, but still they made it look good. Your views, Zakwan?
This is one of those modern T20 chases where the intent completely changes the psychology of the game. You know, Urvil Patel's innings was massive, not just because of the runs, but because of the speed at which he scored them. So 65 of 23 immediately threw the bowling side under panic and immense pressure. Then Rituraj Gaikwad to play a more structured innings, rotate strike calmly. I also liked how CSK never allowed the dot ball pressure to build. Even when the boundaries weren't coming, they kept finding those singers and strike rotation. That more or less cemented why they went on to beat LSG.
Well, Satish, what were the 2 or 3 important points that made you look that CSK is the old CSK, which is like the return of the Lion King to the jungle?
First and foremost, Sunil, the spinners are doing well. So the spin aspect is coming back. Of course, I can't take the credit away from Overton. He bowled well, and so yeah, CSK is known for a collective effort. It's not about one single performance. I think each one supports each other and they play their role. Each one plays their role quite well, and that's the hallmark of Chennai over the years. And that's exactly what is happening over the last few games. I think since after the loss to GT, where I saw that they have started gaining that confidence back, and slowly they are putting things in place. So it's that way. It's one very important point that I would like to bring in. And second is the calm and composure nature of Gaikwad now. Like he is now getting to grips with the team. He's also getting runs, so that panic is not there. So a good captain as a thinking captain is good for the team. So that way, I would say Rutraj coming into grips with the form and the captaincy is another salient feature. And the third is the number of youngsters. And adding to that, the addition of Sanju Samson to the team. If you look at CSK was once called as a dad's army. Now they have at least five youngsters who are below 2021. So that way, it's been excellent. So these are some of the strong points which I would like to highlight. Again, like it's still not over, though it might be a little difficult for Chennai chasing the playoff, but it's still not over. They are in the game, and under pressure, performing requires a lot of grit and determination in the attitude. That CSK is showing at the latter half of the season means they have very good, strong youngsters or the strong team who can perform under pressure.
Well, strong team. Which what about the captaincy, Mama? Since you, of all the panelists, know CSK inside out. In fact, you happen to play at Chennai grounds as well back in the day. But what is your assessment of Sanju Samson? Do you think he's inching closer towards the senior role?
Of course, he's already there as a senior player. If you look at some of the matches, when I watch there live or even when I see it on the screen, I see that Sanju coming and making his own suggestions, the changes to the bowler, whether it is Noor or whether it is the youngsters. He comes in, he doesn't hesitate to walk in. I think he has been already given the leeway to be the part of the leadership. I think that would also take a heavy burden off Ruturaj's shoulders, Sunil, because obviously when you have such a talented player like Sanju, who's also a wicket keeper, coming in, of course, you can't replace somebody like MSD, who could come up with something spectacular at any point of time. But Sanju comes up with his own little changes or little tricks or little suggestions that has made a good difference in this year. And the addition of Sanju Samson has been probably the best in the last few years, apart from the youngsters who have come in.
Well, absolutely. David Brooks, this brings me on to your favorite question segment of the day. It's the RCB versus Mumbai Indians. Of course, Mumbai Indians has been struggling a lot, but last night it was a close contest. How did you fare? Of course, how are you feeling? First of all, you've been under the weather.
Oh, not too bad, thanks. Yeah, no, it was. I was cheered by the result yesterday. Very close finish, good game of cricket. Even just shows that RCB can win even when Virat Kohli fails to score. And a good enterprising knock from Jacob Bethel to start with, but it was the way that things were handled on the field at the end. Despite the brilliance of Bumrah. I mean, Jasprit Bumrah at the end of that match, bowling that over, 2 runs off it, the penultimate over. How could they then lose the match? How could Mumbai lose from there? Bumrah did everything, didn't he? You're getting the Yorkers in, making it really difficult. But then Bhuve Kumar, what a match he had. Not content with delivering with the ball, he then managed to clear extra cover boundary with a 6. So it was clearly his day and a remarkable victory. And just sad though I was for see Bumrah on the losing team. It was a wonderful victory in the end for RCB, and all credit to Bhuve Kumar, the oldest swinger in town.
Absolutely, the oldest swinger. It looks, doesn't he remind you of the Rolling Stones getting older but still going strong? on your musical circuit?
Well, it's got a way to go. You know, he's going to last as long as the Rolling Stones on their just released their latest album, all in their 80s.
Absolutely. Well, Zach, Mumbai Indians rebuilt through an important partnership between Tilak Varma's 57 and Namandir 47 of 32. Why was this stand critical in stabilizing the innings? That's an important question we want to ask you. What's your assessment of that particular match?
Well, I mean, to be fair, all hats off to Namadin and Tilak Varma. They kept the Mumbai innings alive after a constant fall down of wickets. Ryan Rickert and Rohit Sharma, and everyone else did not amount much to that runs that they would have liked to have. Wickets fell, but the only good partnership that structured that innings together was Namandir and Tilak Varma. But it's the speed at which they went on to get that 47 of 50, 47 of 32, 57 of 42. It's just it was not as fast as you'd expected, but nonetheless gave them a score to defend.
Well, give them a score to defend. Two important things come to our mind is Corbin Bosch, 4 wicket spell, and this is for you, Satish, and Krunal Pandya, 73 of 46. Of course, he had a lot of gratitude towards the former team member, Karen Pollard. What do you think of these two performances of Corbin Bosch, 4 wicket, and Krunal Pandya, 73 of 46, which from a tactical perspective was more valuable considering he got into the winning part, Satish?
Yeah, Krunal Pandya playing that knock was extremely important for RCB to cement their position. And Sunil, other part is chasing a small total. This is something which is not easy to defend. That Corbin Bosch coming and bowling that spell of 4 wickets, actually that gave Mumbai the chance. Otherwise, 160 is nothing today in modern day world T20 cricket. That is Bumrah's effort, Tilak Verma's effort, and Bosch, Corbin Bosch. These are smaller. These are the spell. These are some of the things that Mumbai can be happy about it. But at the end of it, they have lost the chance to move it to the playoff, and they are out of the running. And already there is a talk that it was Hardik Pandya's presence that made them not perform up to the mark. While without him, the last 2 games they didn't do well as well. One game when Rohit Sharma got those fantastic runs that they scored, but now again it has to be consistent. So there are more trouble than just the Hardik Pandya, where while his brother performed, Hardik Pandya didn't even play this game. It's not just the one individual or the team composition. It's the overall the management needs to sit down and assess what's going wrong, because Mumbai is not something which is going to be the first team to be eliminated. They are 5-time champions, and there is a lot of soul searching to be done in the season. And these are some of the highlights. But again, these can only make the blow a little, soften the blow, but they have suffered a big lot, Sunil, in this season because of
David Brooks.
the lack of performances of some of the stars.
David Brooks, what team comes to your mind when you have such big owners, superstar players, former skippers, and also a team that has one of the best, arguably the best uh, leather ball bowler in the history of T20 cricket, Jasprit Bumrah? What seems to be going? And suddenly their skipper murmurs of Hardik Pandya not going well with the other uh, p- team members. Do you think that's a cause of worry, sign of worry? And what comes to your mind when you think of this team?
I'll tell you what comes to mind, and that's when India had that brief spell under Kumble, you know, when he wasn't really able to focus the senior players, and there wasn't a great relationship there, was there? Um, you know, is it a question of too many chiefs? I don't know. They all seem like a good group of players, but whatever reason, yeah, it's not firing. So I kind of agree with what Satish is saying. I mean, who'd have thought that the Pandya that was going to be the star of the tournament would be Krunal Pandya rather than Hardik? Whatever's going wrong, something's going wrong there. As you say, when you've got the best bowler in the world in your armory and you're not getting the results, questions do have to be asked. And yeah, that would be a very disappointing, another very disappointing outcome for them yesterday.
Well, absolutely. When you look at the match, it's not just uh, one player that is not doing well. In fact, it's a combination of three. First of all, when you look at Jasprit Bumrah, look at his contribution in the 11 matches. He's taken 3 wickets, which has never happened thus far. You also have Tilak Verma, who's not scoring well. And at the same time, you have the other players adding on to it. But David Brooks, what do you have to say of Jasprit Bumrah's 3 wickets in 8 matches?
Well, I thought there were signs that he was back to his best yesterday. I mean, with the way that he, the way he bowled to Shepherd in that penultimate over. I mean, you know, there's too much, I think, to be said about wickets. Yeah, maybe he hasn't been at his absolute best, but there were signs of it yesterday, and it could be to do with his workload, and it could be to do with when and how he chooses to raise his game on which occasions. Maybe there is an issue there of his motivation within the team, but he's such a good team man. I can't believe that he wouldn't give his utmost for every captain that he plays under. Great team man. Nothing that I've seen, dissuades me that he's still the preeminent bowler in India. And I think I yearn to see him in another format where he can demonstrate with the red ball what he's really capable of.
Well, it was collapsed pressure, as you could see it on your screen right now. We're going to also talk about Tilak Verma. If you can stay back with Tilak Verma as on the screen, he is the lone warrior. He scored 261 runs, including a record-breaking 45 ball 101 versus GT. He's essentially been the entire middle order. The other problem was Surya Kumar Yadav, 195 runs in 11 games with an average of 17. He stepped up as the stand-in captain, but the trademark 360-degree consistency is missing. If I were to look at that from a top view, Satish, do you agree that Mumbai has lost the plot initially because of Hardik Pandya?
No, see, again, I don't believe in one person because each one has a role, Sunil. It doesn't matter whether you like your manager or whether you don't like your boss. At the end of it, you have to work for your company. So the same thing applies on the field as well. So you got to do your best. Surya Kumar Yadav not scoring runs, not just this year, even last year. So these are some of the things that it doesn't matter. Like he is going in the same down or the same order, whether it Hardik Pandya is there or not. So there's not much of a difference there. So I don't see exactly what the problem is, but one thing I see is this is something which RCB has suffered in the past. They are also going through something like that. You might have some 8 or 9 good players, star players, but you might have those 1 or 2 small gaps or holes which could actually sink the ship. That was one of those reasons why RCB was struggling at some point of time where they had about 8, 9 superstars, but those 2, 3 vital slots that were filled in by the Indian players, they were not able to perform up to the mark. I think Mumbai is going through something very similar to that. They have about 8 or 9 superstars, but those 2 or 3 other small gaps that they leave, those slots cost them the dear is what I feel. Now again, that boils down to the auction and the planning and the recruitment and all that. So these are some of the things.
Well, we have a big match coming today. Zakwan, would you like to take us through the build-up of the upcoming match for the day today so that our fans would know exactly what we are dealing with?
Oh,
Over to
well,
you.
certainly Punjab versus Delhi Capitals. It's certainly a very exciting fixture coming forward. Punjab coming into this game with 3 consecutive losses after being a strong team at the beginning. It just goes to show the IPL is never going to be consistent and that venues are going to be opening up for every single team to put their hands into the playoffs. Delhi Capitals, they need to find some sort of rhythm. Still in the race to the playoffs, they will look to some sort of a pull and a tug towards climbing up that playoff ladder and eventually, trying to dismantle it and break apart and possibly reach the playoffs.
Well, David Brooks, what is your assessment of Punjab team? They've certainly come of age this time. They've been hitting hard, they've been bowling hard, they've been missing on some catches, but taking far more than they've been missing out, but they've been led by Shreyas Iyer in form and unknown openers at the top. Your views?
Yeah, Shreyas Iyer's captaincy has been very impressive, the way that he's managed that side. Yeah, following on from what Zakwan was saying there, yeah, it's sort of a surprise that they've got this losing sequence now, having started so well and so consistent. I expect them to come back today, though. I mean, Delhi Capital's got, I think, already got much to play for. I mean, Axar Patel gave that comment last week, I think, that they were going to try out some of their bench strength now to see what some of the other players are capable of, which suggests that they're already thinking ahead to next season's IPL. I can't see them really coming back from where they are, although I'm delighted with Zakwad's countryman, Nasanka, and the contributions that, the improvement that he's made to the team since he's come in at the top order. But no, I think it's Punjab for me today because they've got too much class collectively, and I think I'll expect them to bounce back today.
Well, they've got Punjab for sure looking up very interesting, and the Delhi Capitals as well. Satish, who is your favorite team of the day today when you compare batting of one team to the other?
There's very little to choose, Sunil, because both are top-heavy teams. They depend on a lot on the top four players, and Punjab has got a better advantage. So the pressure is more on the Punjab batsmen. That's exactly where the top order failed in the last few games. If we look at, having said that, there are three losses in the last three games. I would still go with Punjab because Shreyas Iyer is a better captain than Akshar Patel. If you look at, I had a lot of hopes on Akshar Patel at the start of the season, yeah, but over the last few games, and he's slowly taking a back seat instead of leading it from the front. On the contrary, Shreyas Iyer is right there in your face, and he's doing everything. Yes, I'm sure Punjab would have addressed those issues that cost them the three losses. But again, we are into the home stretch of the IPL. Anything is possible. Still, I would give Punjab a slight chance, the edge over Delhi today.
Well, Punjab always seems to be having an edge, considering that the way they've been playing. Zach, uh, before you're the penultimate guest here talking about his favorite team for the day today. Zach one.
Well, my favorite team for it's obviously going to be Punjab. Punjab has been a very solid unit, and we've seen them even produce the highest record for run chase history in the IPL. Ever since that chase of 265, since that night, they have completely lost the momentum. That's why today's game is psychologically important. Mind you, that was against DC as well in the reverse fixture. So the question is, can they rediscover that fearless batting identity that we know them for? And I believe so that they could in this fixture against DC.
Well, closing thoughts from David Brooks, the man who's watching, enjoying, and recovering in Oxfordshire. David Brooks, what's your team for the day, and who's going to be the standout performance in your opinion?
I think it will be Captain's Day. I think Shreyas Iyer will show us why he's such a good captain and such a good player. He's going to want a point to prove. So it's Punjab for me today. I mean, there has been some performances from DC every now and again. Their batting really comes good. So it's going to be close call, and by no means confident selection for me, but just on the edge. I'll just give Punjab the edge today.
Well, Punjab is living on the edge for today, according to David Brooks. Well, that's all we had time for. This is Cricketer, and I'm Sunil Yashkalra signing off from Mumbai. We'll be back after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere else.